Why is it so bloody difficult to lose weight and keep the weight off? We go on that diet, the keto, the banting, the Whole30, whatever the name is. We go on it 3, 4, 5 weeks. We stick with it. Then we give up and we gain all that weight back. So why is it so bloody difficult to lose the weight and keep it off? It's because it's not about the diet you go on. It's about the skills you need in order to develop to lose the weight and keep that weight off. You being here right now, unhappy with your current weight or your health, it is not what you've been doing for the last 3, 4 weeks that got you here. It's what you have been doing for the last 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 15 years. It's the habits along the way that you've developed and cultivated. And how do you expect to change that if you just try to focus on a diet that changes everything in a few weeks? Then you end up crashing and burning. It's not so much about the diet. It's about those skills you need to develop in order to lose weight. So I want to give you a bit of a primer on some of these skills we need to do. And before I do, change is difficult. Psychologically, the brain does not like change. We like routine. We like habits. We like to know what the day is going to be like. Think of it this way. Every time you go to the grocery store, have you ever noticed you buy the same 10 to 15 things? When you cook meals, don't you cook usually the same 8 or 9 meals every single week over and over? And that's the thing. The brain likes routine. So in order for us to change our diet and lose weight, we need to understand psychologically, change is difficult. Change is hard. The brain does not like change. You know, even at work, if something changes, it's a bit uncomfortable at a time. We like routine. And when you go on a diet, you try to change 10, 15, 20 things instantly. After 3 weeks, you're exhausted. It sucks. It's horrible. That's the point. Let's flip that around. What if we focus on just changing one thing at a time? Your future version of yourself, where you want to lose the weight and keep the weight off, that needs to be created in the present. That new identity, those new habits, those new routines. And the only way we can actually make that to last is if we focus on one habit at a time, changing one thing at a time. Once we can do that comfortably, then the next thing, and then the next thing, because that's the only way we can achieve real health. That is how I went personally from 118 kilograms to 68 kilograms. That's the framework I've been using with my own private practice, where I've worked with over 2,000 people. It's about one thing at a time. So what I'm going to give you here then is 5 of the most important skills you need to develop in order to lose weight and keep it off. Don't do all 5 at once. Choose one and then start with that. The first skill is eating slower. Eating slow is vitally important. Most of us mindlessly eat behind a computer or a TV. 10 minutes our plate of food is finished. We go dish up seconds. And another 20 minutes later we sit there. You know what? I had too much to eat. I'm over full. That's the thing. It takes 25 to 30 minutes for your body to recognize mechanically and hormonally how much food you ate. Signals get sent to the brain. You know what? You had enough. You can stop now. Eating slow is one of the most important skills to develop. So I challenge you there. Start paying attention to how fast you are eating and then start eating slower. It sounds frivolous. It sounds stupid. It sounds simple. Many times it's these simple things that yield some of the biggest returns. Then number 2, lean protein with each meal. Protein is the most satiating macronutrient there is. It keeps us fuller for longer, and also, because we're fuller for longer, hunger stays away much longer. So the thing is here, every meal, try to aim for 1 or 2 palms of protein per meal. Combining that with eating slower, you'll be surprised how much quicker you feel satiated and how much longer you stay fuller. Every meal, 1 or 2 palms of proteins. If you want some ideas on different proteins, look at the links down below. I'll give you a nice little handy PDF cheat sheet for the best proteins to the worst choices. Then the third one, bulking up your meal with vegetables. If every meal you aim for 1 or 2 fists of vegetables, That again will help you feel satiated, because now vegetables, they build the volume of the meal without a lot of energy. That stretches the stomach, which will send signals to the brain you had enough to eat. Plus the protein, and then with the vegetables, there's also fiber. Fiber slows down digestion, which means it also helps us stay fuller for longer. Every meal, aim for 1 or 2 fists of vegetables, and again, you'll be surprised how much easier it is to stop eating and how much longer it takes to get hungry again. So the fourth one then is whole unprocessed carb sources. And what I mean with that is, if you take a carb, can you see what it was? If I take a slice of bread, I can't see what it was. It's more processed. And the problem with that, if you want to lose weight, you need to be in a calorie deficit. The more processed a carbohydrate is, the more energy is per gram. If you take whole unprocessed carbs, things like legumes, potatoes, tubers, whole grains, amaranth, spelt, barley, wheat, oats, all these kinds of stuff, it's very difficult to overeat on them because they still have a lot of moisture. If you focus on 1 cup hand of carb per meal, 2 fists of vegetables, and 1 or 2 palms of protein, that's every meal, you are winning at this game. We don't have to overcomplicate it. So the fourth one is ensuring whole unprocessed carb sources. And no, carbs aren't the devil. Carbs don't make you fat. Protein doesn't make you fat. Fat doesn't make you fat. It's the overconsumption of energy that makes you fat. So don't fear carbs, but make better carb choices. As I said, the more processed the carb is, the more energy is per gram, the easier it becomes to overconsume on said carb. The fifth one, sleep. In order to lose weight and become healthier, sleep is vitally important. So many of us struggle with sleep. You need that 7 to 8 hours of sleep. Anything less than that, why does that then matter for my weight loss? If you are sleep deprived, the next day you will be more hungry, you will have more cravings, and let's say you ate a meal of 600 calories and it satiated you. You will now eat a meal of 700-800 calories before you get satiated. Why is that? If we are sleep deprived, our ghrelin hormone, our hunger hormone, ramps up. We're more sensitive to it, so we feel more hungry. Our leptin hormone, the hormone that says, you know what, you had enough to eat, you're satiated, you can stop, ramps down. We're less sensitive to it. So we feel more hungry, we feel less satiated, plus the cravings. You know, bad night of sleep, what food do you crave? Do you crave a chicken breast, broccoli and some rice? Hell no, it's the garage pie, the pizzas or the cookies or the Kit Kats. Those are the things you crave. And how difficult is it to say no to those things? Especially, I'm sleep deprived. I go to work the whole day. I come home, I'm exhausted. It was a crappy day at work today. I'm going to order some pizza, some takeaways. I'm going to sit there, watch TV while I wait for my pizza, while having a bag of chips. How many of us does that sound familiar? Because when we are sleep deprived, we also have less willpower to say no to the things we know we should be saying no to. To wrap that up quickly, 5 of the skills you need to start developing. Start with 1 at a time. Eating slower, 25 to 30 minutes. Lean protein with each meal. 1 or 2 pounds of protein with each meal. Number 3, bulking up your meals with vegetables. 1 or 2 fists of vegetables per meal. The 4th one, whole unprocessed carb sources per meal, 1 cup. And then the 5th one, getting 7 to 8 hours of sleep every night. That will help you stay fuller. It will help you to keep hunger at bay and have the willpower to not give in to quick temptations. What else will you add to these 5 skills you need to develop? I'll say this again. Do not try all 5 at once. Start with 1. Practice it for a week, and then the next one, and then the next one. And if you want to go deeper with us in a framework that's guided, click the link down below. There is my 13 weeks to diet freedom program. That is where I guide you 13 habits, laying the foundation of weight loss and becoming healthier. Every week, you focus on one habit. Every day, you read 2 or 3 or 4 pages of that day's reading, plus introspection, thinking, how does that habit affect you? Where are you currently? What's the coping mechanisms, the psychology of food? And that week, we just learn and practice that one habit. The next week, the next habit. And the next week, the next habit. And in the course of 13 weeks, you've changed your whole lifestyle around food. That 13 weeks to diet freedom is designed to guide you on these skills you need in order to lose weight and, more importantly, to keep the weight off. If this is something you're interested in, look in the description down below. There'll be a link on it. And on these 5 skills, what will you add to that list? And as always, anytime you have any questions, don't be shy. Drop me a comment down below. And remember to be 1% better today than you were yesterday.